Hello, welcome back to the Wolf's Corner. I am your host, and today we are returning to Vraks for the second to last time. Last we left off, the 88th Siege Army had finally cracked the second defensive line, and now was able to start unleashing their heavy artillery on the final defenses of the traders on Vraks. Unfortunately, the traders' saviors had finally arrived in the form of thousands of Chaos troops, including Chaos Space Marines, after defeating the Imperial naval presence above Vraks. And some of these troops, being Chaos troops, immediately went into battle. Remember when I mentioned that the Chaos fleet had launched Dreadclaws down to the surface? Some of them carried that lovely warband, the Berserkers of Scalanthrax, down towards the rear of the Krieg lines as they were launching an assault on a location known as the Mortuary Ridge. Someone was very bland and fatalistic when they chose the names for these places on Vraks. Now, the ridge happened to be a strategic piece of high ground that overlooked the citadel. In other words, the Krieg troops take this position and they can fire even more artillery down on the traders' positions. Well, to the Chaos forces, that would certainly not do. Now I know, none of the Chaos forces would have said it like that, but you get the point. Well, as the drop pods were falling towards the surface, the Chaos fleet had already begun a devastating orbital bombardment on the Krieg lines as a preemptive clobbering to what was coming next. As the Krieg troops managed to shake themselves back from this sudden bombardment, they got the double whammy of the Dreadclaws landing and hordes of mad Khorne Berserkers crashing into their lines all over the place. As I mentioned last time, countless other Chaos forces followed onto the surface. Along with the Iron Warriors, who were going to help with the siege stuff, there were Death Guard, World Eaters, Black Legion, Cultists, Mutants, Beastmen, and worst of all, Warhound and Reaver Titans of the trader Legio Vulcanum landing on Vraks. At the same time that this massive assault against the rear of the Imperial lines was going on, the encircled traders saw an opportunity and counterattacked, throwing the Imperial battle line into complete chaos. Ironic, I know. The Krieg regiments quickly withdrew from their positions that were now untenable. As this happened, Segmentum Command finally had enough of Lord Commander Ezekiel and dismissed this pompous arse, which in a way is a fate worse than death for him, considering that he had to get all those political connections to help him get the position in the first place. His replacement, Marshal Amin Kargari, was everything Ezekiel was not. A seasoned and experienced commander and a veteran of multiple battles, he was chosen to try and salvage this mess of an operation. And Marshal Kargari performed admirably. He quickly gathered a relief force consisting of fresh Krieg regiments and Titans from the Legio Astorum to save the Imperials on Vraks. But while this was being organized, the forces on Vraks had to fight for their lives, and this was not an understatement. Among the Chaos forces that had just arrived included 3 Nurgle-serving warbands: the Purge, Apostles of Contagion, and the Lords of Decay. Very lovely names, of course. These warbands took a chemical weapon from Vraks' stocks called TP-3. This deadly chemical was able to break down even the Death Corps' gas masks, which, I will remind you, had been designed to protect the soldiers from a radioactive wasteland after 500 years of constant warfare. That's how deadly this thing was. And these Plague Marines slaughtered the entire 19th Regiment with this horrific weapon in a wonderful harvest for their god. Now, you may ask, where's Zaphan in all this? Well, that wonderful cardinal who fell hook, line, and stinker for the lies whispered in his ear was nothing more than a figurehead now, as Arcos and all the other Chaos warlords had taken complete control. Yes, you can make a Harbinger reference of assuming direct control here. Now that he was making less and less appearances in public for his loyal, if deluded, forces, you can imagine that it's only a matter of time before these warlords determined that they did not really need him anymore. After several weeks of fighting on the surface, forces of Battlefleet Scarus sent to Vraks arrived to see what the situation was. Surprisingly, the only Chaos ships left in the system was the Anarchy's Heart and its escorts. All those other ships that were there thought the war was won, so they left for other war zones to plunder. The Anarchy's Heart tried to ambush the Imperial battleship Duc de Wall during the second battle for the Vraks system. Unlike last time, it was the Chaos forces who got hammered, the Anarchy's Heart badly damaged, and multiple escorts destroyed. The Chaos fleet withdrew, and now the Imperials could begin to resupply their forces on the ground. The relief force quickly went into battle in the Kogori offensive against the traitor assault. The new forces and the firepower of the Titans were able to stop the traitors' advance while Titans on both sides finally met. The traitors lost a dozen Titans and were forced to retreat, leaving the Loyalists as the only Titans on the battlefield for now. As the front toned down for yet more attritional warfare, Kogori tried something new. Deploying Krieg engineer forces, Kogori ordered them to tunnel underneath the enemy lines, both to come up behind the traitors' lines and rig mines to destroy their positions. This started the war beneath Vraks. If you've ever read anything about history, you'll know that tunnels are some of the worst places to have to fight. And both sides lost a lot of troops here. At the same time, battles in the air took on a new level of intensity as Imperial Lightnings and Thunderbolts fought with Chaos Hellblades and Talons while Marauder Bombers attacked the traitors' line. The Imperial Navy's fighters managed to establish air superiority as the war progressed, but it took a heavy toll on their numbers. Kogori tried to regain the initiative by launching a new assault. With mines placed under the traitors' lines and an enormous artillery bombardment dropping down on their heads, a mass of Gorgon transports moved towards the enemy lines. The first two tries failed, but the third succeeded. Unfortunately, 1 million soldiers died in this assault because they were being attacked from the front by the local traitor forces and from behind by the Chaos Marines. Sadly, the assault failed to break through the traitors' lines, and to make things even worse for Kogori, those sloths in the Administratum finally decided to give up on Vraks, as their beloved timetable and charts were in complete shambles. So they started to withdraw regiments that were vital for the war to deploy them elsewhere. This meant the campaign was going to be even longer. Kind of ironic, I know. And Kogori realized this too, so he took drastic action. Acting on his own, he sent requests to the Red Scorpions Space Marine chapter, begging them for help. It took a while, but the Red Scorpions eventually did agree to help the 88th Siege Army. In an assault called Operation Execution Place, veteran Red Scorpions and Terminators deployed to the line and plowed through the traitors who did not expect them to appear. Quickly reorganizing, the traitors launched an assault by those wonderful Ogren Berserkers, the one who killed the smart Colonel Atas last time. Well, this time the Ogrins were beaten off in a bloody fight with assault Terminators. The Red Scorpions were able to quickly take the breach they made, and Krieg Guardsmen did not wait to come and support them. And none too soon. The traitors, realizing that this breach meant that their lines were going to fall apart again, launched a large counterattack led by their good old Titans. So naturally, it fell to the Loyalist Titans to kick them in their rears again, which they did, stopping the traitor assault. With this position in hand, the traitors only had the Citadel left in their control, and the Red Scorpions left, their part of the deal complete. This whole time, the Chaos Space Marines did not appear on the battlefield, even though Loyalist Space Marines were present. That was because they had other plans in motion. All around the Vraks system, signs of an impending demon incursion began to appear. The Ordo Malleus, who had been watching the situation carefully, investigated these signs. At a conclave on Scaris at the Inquisition Fortress, the Ordo Malleus revealed their findings about the demons. It was Lord Inquisitor Hector Rex who figured out this through the Emperor's Tarot. Now, I'm just going to take a moment to talk about Lord Inquisitor Hector Rex because this guy's incredible. He's an Inquisitor who's been implanted and boosted to the point that he now stands 8 feet tall, as big as a Space Marine, and he's a super powerful Psyker who was able to defeat a greater demon of Khorne by himself. Yeah, this guy is one of those epic heroes of the Imperium. And he now realized that if nothing was done, Vraks would become a demon world. He would not allow this to happen. So his argument at the conclave was that because this demon incursion was about to occur, the Ordo Malleus would take charge of the operation on Vraks. This was opposed almost completely by the Ordo Hereticus, as it had been their operation up to this point. Think about this for a second. There's about to be a demon incursion on Vraks with millions of Imperial servants on the line, and the Inquisitors are having a parts measuring contest to determine who is bigger. But despite the arguments of the Ordo Hereticus, the Malleus Inquisitors were given permission to take charge, and Lord Inquisitor Hector Rex was chosen to oversee this operation. To that end, he negotiated with the commander of the 88th Siege Army to induct the entire force into his retinue as a means of using them as he saw fit, and protect them from the fate that awaited them if and when the demons came out of the wall. Along with other Malleus Inquisitors going to Vraks to serve as Rex's lieutenants in the Siege Army, the Grey Knights and the Red Hunters Space Marine chapters sent significant forces to support Lord Inquisitor Rex. And that's where we'll leave this video, as the stage is set for the final phase of the Siege of Vraks. When we return, we will see the very last battles play out and the consequences of all that has happened here on Vraks. Please post comments below, and as always, which next series do you want to see? The Bad Ab War or the Wars for Armageddon? And as always, for more good Warhammer lore and stories, check out the channel links in the description. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please help the channel grow. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. This is the Wolf's Corner. Have a good day.